Sort of a little fun fact here, when the Layton series was announced to be a trilogy at the Curious Village's announcement, they already had names and ideas for the next few games. However, the second game was the only one that got changed around during development. It was originally called Professor Layton and the Secret of the Ghost Island. It was changed because the creators found it out of place for an English gentleman trying to survive on a desert island. Okay. So the Haunted Island idea was dropped and was instead replaced with a box, the Diabolical box to be exact, which is rumored to have the ghastly ability to kill anyone who dares to open it. Layton receives a letter from his old archaeology mentor from college, Dr. Schrader, with news that he himself has come into possession of the cursed artifact. Unfortunately, Layton and Luke discover that the doctor was too impatient for their arrival and opened the box without them. Stricken by his friend's death, the professor sets out to find out if it really was the box that killed the doctor. Finding a lead towards a luxury train called the Momentary Express and a mysterious town rumored to be the home of a vampire. The developers have learned so much from the Curious Village. Using up as much as twice of the data, the puzzles have been tied into the story even more and the use of its minigames have updated. But of course that's to say nothing by how the writing has improved. Well, some parts, but we'll get to that in a second. I've mentioned in the last video that I've had friends that have become much more interested in Layton through the second game as opposed to the first. Again, not saying the Curious Village was horrible, but there definitely seems to be the spark to the Diabolical box. Yeah, the animation's still a little blurry at times, but it makes for that with a better use of colors and better character movements. When the clear lines do show, it's some really great animation to see, and the characters are becoming more expressive with their movements. Speaking of the characters, let's talk about them. Layton and Luke are consistently good throughout this game, and the inflections in their voice acting has improved.
You know, I don't think he's telling us the whole story.
Perhaps not. It's hard to say just yet.
Although some of the performances of the side characters leave something to be desired, but there's still some pretty good side characters, and we are even introduced to the real Inspector Chelmy from the last game, who is attempting to find the person who had stolen the box. Most of the side characters are more memorable and likable from the last game, though I have to admit I'm not really a fan of that conductor. Yeah, how is it an English gentleman on a desert island makes no sense, but rock and roll obsessed sunglasses wearing conductor fits perfectly fine in this cast. Chelmy's pretty good, the vampire's pretty good, the mayor's daughter is pretty good. It's a good step up. They're allowed to be interesting without overshadowing Layton and Luke. Oddly enough though, the character that already had a backstory before any of our main leads is the most underdeveloped here. Remember Flora from the last game? Yeah, they brought her back. And they really don't do much with her. I mean, they show her doing some stuff, but honestly, I had no clue about her motivations for some of them. Talk about a missed opportunity. Do you remember the backstory you did for her? There are some interesting things you could do. You could go into her adapting to her life, or maybe overcoming her fear of being alone. Oh, wait, I guess they mentioned that once in the game. Mentioning something isn't the same as developing something, guys. It's one of the rules of writing. In fact, they take her out of the story before she can even do anything. That's a real nice move there. But the saving grace of the game are the puzzles and the mystery. Which is weird to say, I can't really talk in much detail about it as the rest because, well, it is a mystery. You're just gonna have to take my word that it's a pretty interesting box. And a pretty interesting journey. It's also nice to see a more personal adventure for Layton to find the truth behind his friend's death. The puzzles are a lot more creative, as well as the backgrounds and locations. The atmosphere is well done, and it even does manage to be very touching along the way. It has a few bumps here and there, but the stuff it improves on greatly overshadows them, and continues to be a favorite among fans. I wouldn't say this is my favorite, but I did get interested in the series by this game. So, yeah, I do still have this fondness for it. And one or two more replays doesn't seem that impossible. I do think there is a better game to start with, but there's no harm in this one.